28 years later. Well, actually 23 years later because the original one came out in 2002, but 28 years later from a story perspective, and this movie was fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I went into it expecting heart because the original one had a lot of heart. That's what Danny Boyle and Alex Garland are so brilliant about. They take something like a zombie movie, and of course they're not truly zombies because zombies are typically the undead, and these are just infected humans. So I'm going to make that distinction right now, but the rest of the video I am going to refer to them as zombies. But I will do the air quotes because I get it. They're not technically zombies. But I expected heart in this movie, but man, I did not expect to cry. And I did not really expect to laugh either. There were some really solid comedy bits in here, but I did not expect to cry. There was a really emotional scene in this movie that had water running down your boy's cheek, I'm not going to lie. And it was really nice. I really, really liked it. And what I realized as I walked out of the movie is that this is a movie just like the original one, not about zombies, but about humans. It's about being human and what it means to be human, the hard decisions we have to make, especially in times that will try us, like a zombie apocalyptic outbreak. But it's about being human and what it means to be human and the many different faces that humanity can take. And specifically, what this movie was really about, it was not a zombie movie. It was about mentorship. It was a movie about mentorship. The history of storytelling all throughout time, the history of humanity, there's been mentorship. There's been mentors. We have parents. We have teachers. That's just how humans work. We need the generation before us to teach us, and then we pass it on, and the domino effect keeps perpetually rolling forever. And that's just how it goes. And this is a movie about what it means to be a good mentor or a bad mentor. And it's one of them movies that caught me off guard because I did not expect to walk away with existential thinking. And it's the first movie in a long time that I've seen in theater that actually made me think, that actually made me walk away from the theater and actually use my brain and say, most movies these days just do not accomplish that, in my opinion, essential aspect of storytelling, of movies. Nowadays, movies are more spectacle than anything, but don't ever forget, movies are supposed to be art, and art is always supposed to make you think and make you realize things. And this movie did that. It also touched upon the concept of memento mori, the idea that we must all remember that we die. And it's not something that's supposed to be depressing. It's supposed to be something that motivates us and reminds us what it means to be human, what it means to be alive, and what it means to maximize our time on this planet. We get 3 different mentors. So in each act of this movie, we get a different mentors. Spoiler warning, I will be talking about different story aspects that will reveal different parts of the movie that do happen. So this is your warning. So in Act 1, we get the mentor of Spike's father. So Spike is the main character. He's a 12-year-old boy living in this commune island. So the UK has been quarantined from the rest of the world because the UK is the only place that the infected still reside. And Spike and his family, they live on this commune island. It's right off the coast of mainland England, and there's this really cool bridge that leads across to the mainland called the Causeway, and that plays a pivotal part in the story as well. But Spike and his dad are going out for this ritualistic rite of passage, and Spike's dad is going to show him how to kill the infected. So they go to the mainland, they kill infected, they come back. It's kind of like a purging of the infected, but also a heroic journey that the people on this island, in this community, take part in. And Spike's time is now. He's going to go with his dad, and he goes. And they encounter infected, and Spike kills his first infected. And you could tell it doesn't feel good because he knows that they were people. They still are people. And his father, Aaron Taylor Johnson's character, really wants him to be tough, and You could tell he loves Spike. You could tell he's a good father in that aspect. He loves his son, and he wants the best for his son. He's trying to teach his son how to protect himself in this cruel world. And Spike has a hard time with it. He is a young boy, so he panics and he's nervous under pressure. And luckily, Aaron Taylor Johnson's character is a brave, macho guy and gets them out of there. It's a close call, but we find out some interesting stuff. There are new types of infected. So, over 28 years, the infected have found a way to evolve. So, just like biology and nature always does, it found a way to survive. So, originally, they were dying off too fast because they were just running, and consuming too much energy. They couldn't keep up. Their caloric intake could not keep up with it, and they would just die from famine. Then they evolved. The virus realized, okay, we need to conserve energy. So some of them became these slow lows, which are like these fat ones that lay on the ground and just crawl around and just eat worms. And then there's alphas. So alphas are these giant, monstrous infected. We learn that the virus acts like a steroid for some humans and turns them into absolute savage monsters, and they are called alphas. And the alphas control all the other infected and tell them when to attack. So it helps to conserve energy for the infected, and they hunt in like a more pack like wolves type of formation. And it's really interesting stuff to see how they evolved this world. And Alex Garland, his writing is brilliant. Danny Boyle's directing is incredible. It's a really, really pretty film to look at. But Act 1 is the tough father that teaches his son to be strong. Then we get to Act 2. Spike's mom is sick. She's dying. And Spike wants to save his mom, and he finds out there's a doctor on the mainland. So he takes his mom, they go to the mainland, and he has to protect her. He learns the lessons from his dad to protect his mom, and he does a pretty good job. There is a scene where the mom has to protect him, but because of the status of her mind, it's completely withering away, so she doesn't even remember protecting him. But we see this beautiful story unfold of a son and a mom, and that bond, and it's a really beautiful bond. And a son will do anything for his mom, and a mom will do anything for her son, or daughter, of course, but in this case, son. And it's just a very special bond. And then we see an infected give birth. So we see that the infected are capable of getting pregnant. And the baby is healthy. The baby's not infected. And we see that the infected woman giving birth, because of, I guess, the hormones going on during childbirth are so extreme, they overtake her mind, and she's kind of normal for a second. She's just a mother giving birth in that moment. As soon as she gives birth, she snaps back to being infected and tries to kill them. But they take the baby, and they try to save and protect the baby. And it's this beautiful story of, even though it's a harsh condition, even though it's a cruel world, and the odds are stacked against them, they still choose to take this baby. They cannot leave this baby and try to protect her. And it's a beautiful thing. And the mom is a much more soft, she's more lighthearted, she's more jokey with Spike, and it's a different type of mentor. It's a mentor that's more loving and more soft. So we see the contrast in those two mentors, and we see how they complement each other. And then we get to the third mentor. It's a doctor played by Ralph Fiennes, who plays this character brilliantly. As always, the man is just one of the greatest actors ever. I mean, I love him so much. He's fantastic. And he plays this character wonderfully. He is a amalgamation of the mother and the father. He's soft, he's caring. Since he's a doctor, he sees these infected for what they are. They're sick humans. So Aaron Taylor Johnson's character, Spike's father, he views them as subhuman. They're just, you gotta just kill them. You can't think about it. The more you kill them, the easier it gets. And then, because Spike's mother is sick, this beautiful correlation happens where Spike looks at the infected from a more empathetic viewpoint, because his mom is sick, and really, being infected is no different. The infected didn't do anything wrong. They got sick, and now they're just rage monsters that are just trying to kill everything. And the doctor helps to really hammer that home for Spike. And the doctor has survived on the mainland for a very long time, so he also is a tough guy. He has survival instincts and is tough and knows how to protect himself because he survived for all this time. So he's a combination of the mother and the father, and he's the third mentor in the third act. And all three of these mentors bring something different to the table, but you can see the different types of mentors that can exist and the virtues of one that are good, the virtues of another that are good, and the virtues of another that are good. And what I loved about this movie is it feels like it has a positive undertone. He names the baby Isla after his mother. His mother decides she doesn't want to burden her son anymore after the doctor confirms that he believes she's going to die very soon because she has metastasized brain cancer. It's all throughout her body. It's in her breasts, in her entire body. So she makes the hard decision to allow the doctor to euthanize her. And it's a beautiful scene. The doctor built this bone temple. It's like a sanctuary to the dead. It's the bones of the infected and the bones of the uninfected. And we see that they're one and the same. They're the exact same because they are the same. The infected are just humans. And the doctor really, really tries to build a shrine to that to remind everyone that the infected were people too, and they deserve to be respected and mourned as well. And it's just a beautiful story, and it's a really interesting way to take the story, but I really liked it. I really dug what Alex Garland and Danny Boyle were doing there. And then his mom dies, so the doctor takes her skull and gives it to Spike, and there's this beautiful scene where he climbs this skull tower and puts her skull on the very top, and it's just really, really gorgeous. The way that it's handled with Ray Fiennes' performance, he's so soft and tender the way he's speaking to them, and you could feel the love in his voice and his actions, and it's a really, really gorgeous moment where he puts the skull at the top as the sun's rising, and he turns the skull because earlier Ray Fiennes says these are skulls. These are what makes a person a person. There was a brain in here. There was eyes in here. There was a mouth on here that swallowed and spoke, and it's this beautiful thing about death and memento mori. Remember that we're all gonna die, and that's what gives life value. And he also echoes memento amoris. Remember to love. Don't forget to love. That's an important aspect of life too. And it's just gorgeous, man. Just so many beautiful messages going on, and I really, really enjoyed what was happening in this movie. And at the very end, we get the fourth mentor, but that mentor is meant for the next movie. But we get the fourth mentor, and it's Jimmy. So Jimmy's a kid that we were introduced to in the very first scene when the outbreak first started. He watches his entire friends and family get slaughtered in front of him as a child, and over the last 28 years, you could tell he's become eccentric and probably pretty rotten, and he's going to be a mentor that illuminates to Spike the exact type of person he doesn't want to be. So I'm curious to see how that story plays out, but Jimmy for sure is going to be an antagonistic force in the next movie, and it's just a beautiful story, and I highly recommend seeing it in theaters if you haven't, then I don't know why you watched this entire video because I did give spoilers. But what did you think of 28 Years Later? Did you enjoy Danny Boyle's latest film? Did you like it? Did you not? What did you like? What did you not? What did you think about everything I talked about? And as always, I really appreciate you watching. I would really appreciate if you just click that subscribe button. I mean, come on, just click that subscribe button. It doesn't change anything in your life, except you just got to see my amazing, wonderful videos pop up in your feed a little bit more often. And is that such a bad thing? Okay. Really appreciate you guys. Stay tuned for my next video. Tay